By special request for Jonho and Alexander, I, the Rev Devilin, have been asked to explain the allegedly unexplainable, in pedantic and irrefutable detail. Why do people like watching football, the most popular spectator sport in the world? Although personally, considering the size of my intellect, I consider this task beneath me. But nevertheless, I shall endeavour, in all humbleness, to complete this task. My greatness is only surpassed by my modesty. Let us begin. First, we must define some parameters, for clarity, as I have some American subscribers, to save confusing the poor unfortunate things. We shall define the football using a more traditional and colloquial term. I shall use the phrase bag of wind when referring to a football. Now the game, and I use the word liberally, the game itself comprises of 22 sweaty, scantily dressed men chasing a bag of wind around a field for 1.5 hours. To wish to be a spectator of this? Well, one cannot ignore the rather obvious homoerotic aspects of this voyeuristic pursuit, leading me to surmise, conservatively, that approximately 98% of the audience probably just turn up to satisfy their homoerotic carnal desires, and are quite indifferent to which team wins. Or at best, this is only of secondary importance to them. So we shall concentrate upon the remaining spectators that consider this to be some kind of, and I use the word liberally, sporting event. Now, as a sporting event, it can best be described as weak. When, say, compared to a real sporting event, like, say, cricket, where sensibly attired gentlemen test their sporting skills. Anyway, this chasing a bag of wind around the field appears to involve no skill whatsoever. In fact, I've calculated the odds of randomly kicking the bag of wind between two posts to be greater than the average score achieved in any game of kick the bag of wind around. I must therefore surmise it is not a game as such, and the spectators must be too weak-minded to realise this. Or there must be some social aspect to this. Serendipitously, I chance to cross a conversation betwixt two common-looking folk, whom had wandered into our drinking establishment. The conversation I inadvertently overheard was one fellow said, "Did you see that goal scored by Rooney? Genius, absolute genius." To which the other fellow replied, "Yes, mate, genius. That's what football is all about, you know." Then the conversation became somewhat incoherent. I looked up Rooney on the net, and I suggest you do the same. Any interview will suffice. This Rooney seemed as far from genii as it is possible to get. Indeed, if the supporters looked upon this Rooney as an admired genius. My previous conclusion that the supporters were too weak-minded to realise that this spectacle of kick the bag of wind around was not a real game, or sport, was confirmed. I looked at this from a historic basis, as the stadiums bore an uncanny resemblance to the gladiatorial arenas of ancient Rome, and the rulers kept the unwashed, ignorant masses entertained with gladiatorial spectacles. Suffice to say, if you keep the ignorant masses entertained with trivia, they are much easier to manipulate and control. But the ignorant masses were not so ignorant, or weak-minded, as to pay to be deliberately dumbed down. The entertainment was free. This, of course, leads to the inevitable and irrefutable conclusion that is so self-evident, I need not speak it. You may confirm my brilliant analysis in the comment section below, Or if you wish to comment on my greatness or modesty, you may also do this. Please start your comments with I, that is you, am unworthy.